Hey folks, it's Johnny Flynn. There's multiple super important cases in the Connecticut Superior Court that you probably should pay attention to because it describes how mortgage fraud is supported by 12 judges and worse, Attorney General Tong. So, please follow along. It's incredibly important, and I want you to look at this. Ready? A couple of things, actually. Let me take myself off. This is an amended motion for Capias. Arrest in compliance with CGS 5322. The persons charged named below for criminal and civil charges regarding the willful violation of larceny, theft of property, sell-off of defendant improvements, and take a look at the list. It includes Judge Gennario, Judge Tierney, Judge Randolph, Judge Blowy, Judge Lee, Judge Montleys, Kavanowski, Kowalski, Mintz, Tobin, Pravater, and Spader. It involves Amy Michelli, the clerk, City Mortgage, the Appellate Court, the Attorney General, the Court Committee, Comedy Law. This is Stephen Conover, who is on the statewide grievance panel, a real winner, and all these other people. But when you look at this case, it's a warrant for arrest for William Tong, folks. It's a big deal, but what's more important is what's in my hand. What's in my hand is a different case relating to this case. And if you look at it, it's no joke. This is a file, this is a motion, a 132-page motion. No one even bothered to read it, including the judges, which is important. Because what it demonstrates is that there's multiple types of judicial misconduct, and it looks at many of the different parties in a row. Now, I have also filed my own Capias writ against Senate Majority Leader Bob Duff for taking bribes in this case. Let's go show you first, and I'll come right back. Outlook, let's close it. Let's go to legal. I want you to see something. Legal. Search. Donna, here we go. Sorry, my phone keeps ringing. I can't answer it. These are seek documents of Senate Majority Leader Bob Duff where he accepted 85 grand. Look at the different pages. Page 5, for example. Look at page 5. Right here. Robinson and Cole. This is Firetree's attorney. So while Firetree is opening prisons in Connecticut without permits, Bob Duff is getting kickbacks from lobbyists. Look at these names. Page 7. Look at page 9. Halloran and Sage. Do you know who that is? That's Biff Halloran's law firm, a made man in the Gambino crime family. Okay? And he has a lobbyist firm. When you go down, they handle all the campaign finance fraud. But if you look here, look down the list, there are some remarkable donors, including Dominion. You heard me. Dominion. I don't know. I'm looking into it. But for Bob Duff to be collecting money from Dominion, that is quite alarming. But that's not what I want to talk about in this case, okay? What I want to talk about in this case is what's in my hand, okay? Go through page by page, and it outlines various ethical deficiencies of the judges, one by one. It highlights on page 15 Judge Spader, the same judge that Andrew Pritchard's going after for mortgage fraud. I'll tell you why. Municipal tax liens were purchased, and then they force a person to foreclose, lose their house, so they get their tax lien. But that's not the key. Cass Creek, Connecticut 3, and MTAG, subsidiary of Hunt Liebert, are offices of Epstein, okay, who's involved. Judge Spader is a partner at Casanova Creek Funding. Casanova Creek Funding. I want to show you later how many cases he's got. So, when we look at the judge, Judge Spader, let's focus on the one judge first. Because there's multiple judges that are doing the exact same thing. And it's a money laundering scandal. It's extortion. It's bribery. It's racketeering. It's RICO. And he's in the Stamford Superior Court now. He screwed up so many families in Bridgeport that they gave him the boot. And they sent him to Stamford to start messing with us. If you read this 2-page article from the Bridgeport Telegram called Tilting the Power, it describes what the judges are up to. So the newspapers know. More importantly, let me turn to one page here. Now we're saying Judge Spader is a partner in law firms steering cases to himself to collect the mortgage fees, the interest on the penalties, taxes, and everything else that he gets a kickback on, including drive-by fees and all types of other things. But look here. Judge Spader is an active member of the North Haven community, okay, and president of the Police Commission Association of Connecticut. That's how he's getting away with it. He's in charge. He's on the Police Commission of Connecticut. So all the chiefs are in an association, including Larrabee, who puts hits on people. Gallo, Nappy, they were indicted in East Haven. They were never criminally prosecuted, but their police officers they supervised were. Look at the list. Larrabee worked for Provader and Malloy for 10 years in Stamford, which is a big problem. Read the book Roguetown. You'll read about it. This article here describes how Spader got involved and moved his way up to the police commission. This document, testimony of attorney Walter Spader Jr., submitted to the banking committee, act reducing the interest rate on municipal tax liens that have been assigned by a municipality. Okay, what does this mean? He's at the Marcus Law Firm, okay? That's where he works. He handles the foreclosures as the judge in his own firm's racketeering. There are articles here implicating Casanova Creek. Lots of them. The law office of Judah Epstein, same thing. Partners at mortgage companies getting kickbacks, having cases steered to judges who are on the police commission and partners in the law firm. Then Malloy made him a judge, made Provader a judge. After. And if you look, 15 of the judges are Democrats and 2 are Republicans. And in the appeals court, it's a majority of Democrats, 2 independents, and 1 Republican. So in other words, based on the population of the state, There should be 2/3 as many Republican judges as there are Democrats, and it's 15-1. Therefore, this is where the problem lies. Okay, this is an inch thick, folks. Okay, almost. Casanova Creek, Casanova Creek, Casanova Creek, Casanova Creek, Casanova Creek. Who's the judge? Oh boy. All the defendants. White Eagle Society of Brotherly Help. Who's that? Hill Michael. Eagle Society. Custodian for Felix Ansom. Pages and pages of cases heard by Judge Spader, steering the case to his own law firm, Casanova Creek, while being in charge of the police commission, so no one will arrest him, appointed by Malloy, just like Provader, handling hits for Larrabee, denying subpoenas for plaintiffs, denying juries, denying articulation, denying discovery. This is criminal, folks. How can you assign the judge the case at his own law firm where he gets a fee? Look at the pages and pages of cases. Are these all from the same year? 18, 18, 18, 18. These are all from 2018. They haven't held the 2020 cases. All these. Casanova funding. Walter Spader. Casanova funding. FSTCV 18-607-8205. Casanova Creek. Walter Spader. Congress Street LLC. Harry Carrillo. Pembroke Laundry and Cleaners. Gilliard Realty Corp. Walter Spader. Walter Spader. Walter Spader. Walter Spader. Steering cases to himself to force foreclosure for his own law firm. How sweet is that? Taking the drive-by fees, denying people every right, and taking their property. Now, the first case I showed you is a $3.5 million home with a fictitious $200,000 mortgage that Mr. Spader forced to foreclosure for $1 million. The problem that Mr. Spader is not aware of is that there is a prior loan on the house for $9 million. Okay? So the judge foreclosed, evicted the homeowner, took the $9 million lien, which is a federal lien, disavowed it. They're supposed to get paid first, took the money and ran. Okay? Do you understand that he violated a federal law? And Attorney General Tong also was told about it, refused to do anything about it. Tong refused to arrest Richard Colangelo for bribery. Yes, Tong has been suing Trump over the border. It's got nothing to do with anything. He wants to take over Purdue Pharma. Look at this page. All this. Walter S. Okay? Loretta Polite. Funding. Patrick Atkinson. Helen Granskiog. They all got screwed by the same judge, by his law firm that forced a lien or a foreclosure, including interest, penalty, and taxes, at 18%, folks. That's usury, and it's worse than that. The beneficiary of Frank Serwinski, Walter Spader, Funding LLC, Norman Street, Walter Spader. This judge named in this in this criminal action, look at all this. Walter Spader, Walter Spader, Walter Spader, Walter Spader. Eduardo Brito Gomez. Sarah Young, robbed. Oswin Alexis, robbed. By who? Walter Spader. You can't hear the trial of your law firm where you're a partner making fees as a judge? You're supposed to be impartial. Let me tell you, this is not a small amount of crimes, folks. This is pages and pages of money laundering. Extortion, selling someone's house. He sold Tor's house, a friend of mine, in Bridgeport who had no mortgage. Had no mortgage. His mom died, willed him the house, probate, screwed up the transfer, and they're stealing his house right now. A true gentleman and a scholar, based on a water bill his mom didn't pay because she died. So the money's all tied up in the probate court, which is closed. The criminal court's closed. There's 31 more murder trials on hold in the Stamford Superior Court. I went there today and filed a motion. I was the only guy in the whole building. The place is closed. Tons and tons. Here. The schedule of Casanova Creek fundings of court actions by Walter Spader. Why was this dismissed? Because Walter Spader decided on it, probably. Let's look. This is page 39. Notary Public. Hold on. Ruled upon. Ready? By Walter Michael Spader. He denied these motions where he was accused of being the judge and the lawyer at the law firm that falsified the documents leading to foreclosure. Are you with me? What's going on here? Well, William Tong knows. The Attorney General knows. Another one. Order. Motion to award expenses. Nope. Here we go. Walter. Order. Motion to approve sale and deed. Mail to appearing parties. Hold on. Yeah. He passed the motion to approve the sale and deed of a house to himself at his own law firm. Look at all the rulings. Here we go. What happened here? Motion for order. Interim expenses. Awarded to himself by himself, Walter Spader. Foregoing having been considered, ordered. Foreclosure Committee, motion for advance of foreclosure, Walter Spader. Agreed. Here we go. Even a stay was created, by a bad faith bankruptcy. Excuse me? The court waived all news publications, new title searches, appraisals, and all signs for the sale date. Approved by the judge. Selling the property to himself. This property was worth $350 and it sold for $150. $200,000 was stolen. And by the way, the seller of the house got socked with all the expenses of everything directly to the judge's law firm. State of Connecticut. William Spader. Supplemental judgment of foreclosure, having been determined by the court. Motion for supplemental judgment for $25,226 after stealing a house with $200,000 in equity. This is one case, folks, and I showed you how many cases there are just for Casanova Creek. He also, here, Casanova Creek, funding, plaintiff, against Helen Gregunskog. Walter Spader ruled on a motion for Casanova Creek. It's right in the title. His own law firm. Walter Spader, order. Can you see that? I have this online too. I can bring it up on the screen like I bring up the other documents. For example, like I bring up this document. I can switch. I can switch to the other documents, folks, if you like. But what I'd rather do is not provide you with this. I can give it to you if you want. But look at all these rulings of the judge for the judge's own law firm. Look, stacks and stacks. Fees, $165,000 in fees. Appraisal, $1,700. Attorney fees, $3,000 to himself. $37,304 to Casanova Creek. Casanova Creek. M&M Enterprises got screwed by a judge who's a partner at his own law firm, taking the fees for himself, stealing the property, and keeping the equity. Folks, how many of these do I have to show you? I mean, I have 132 pages of it. Is that enough? So, this is a $10 million fraud by a judge at the Stamford Superior Court who's not allowed to operate in Bridgeport anymore because he's a notorious gangster in Bridgeport. So I think I've said enough pointing out that Connecticut judges like Spader, named in the Andrew Pritchard lawsuit, are also victimizing, get ready for this, the person who's the victim in this case is a Republican that ran for Congress, ran for U.S. Senate, and is currently considering running for Congress. But right now he's in a bunch of lawsuits, targeted, and he has evidence that Bridgeport police targeted him. Clear evidence. I've seen it. So when you look at what's happening here, we have senatorial candidates being attacked. We have congressional candidates who have been attacked. T.J. Elgin attacked. Okay? Others attacked. I can outline them all. So, when I say we have criminal judges in charge of their own law firms' foreclosures, steering them to themselves with the knowledge, with the knowledge of all the other judges involved. Why? When you look at the cases and the facts, let me show you one more thing I hate to tell you. I'm going to the current file. Okay, let me switch the screens to 2. Okay, let me bring it down for you. Okay, look at any one of these documents. Okay, here we go. This is the claim against a judge. Amended bank fraud and theft of property claim. All these Connecticut statutes. CGS 42-9. CGS residential mortgage fraud. CGS 4730. Forgery in the first degree. Forgery in the second degree. Filing a false record. Notice of mortgagee foreclosure. Penalty for recording false information. Assignment of mortgage debt requirement sufficient notice. This is all on all these parties under racketeering. Amy, the clerk, is aware of it. Blowy, the judge who appoints the cases. Gennaro. Why? Because the first, Gennaro and Kavanowski, are partners at a law firm. I believe that Tobin is also a partner of the same law firm. But what they do is, Gennaro sets the thing up for the other judge, who's a partner in his firm, to take the profit. Okay? So here we go. Look at this name, Stephen Conover. I gave him £45 of check fraud evidence in 2001, and I named him in lawsuits that have 500,000 felonies. And what happened? What happened? He has immunity from Judge Spader. He's on the statewide grievance council. They don't take complaints. I have over 10 attorneys claiming to be my attorney that I don't know. And then I say to you, okay, how do we fix Connecticut's judicial misconduct? If people don't wisen up, they're going to be losing their houses during a pandemic, folks. These judges are multimillionaires. They are stealing properties, and I don't care what they say, what they do. I know they're coming for me. They've been coming for me for a long time. The only way you can protect me is to vote for me, because if I become U.S. Senator, I will take them out to the grand jury, indict them myself, and send them to Leavenworth. Watch it happen. I want my $50 million back, which is in the hands of Judge Adams, who's not even on this list, I might add. So these criminal judges don't represent all the criminal judges. No. There are judges here I haven't even talked about who I'm afraid to talk about, but I'm not afraid to talk about Gennario and Kavanowski. Oh no. Okay? Let's roll over them with like a steamroller and move on to bigger targets. But yes, thank you for listening. Please share this video. I'm not messing around here, and neither is Pritchard or Ethan Book. None of us are messing around. We have other people now helping us. We have Jason Milligan on board pretty much. We have Lori Hopkins Cavanaugh. We have a couple on deck. And by the way, once one or two go down, the rest will fall like cards. The problem I have is worse than Mr. Pritchard, I believe. It's not just theft. It's murder for hire, repeated home invasion, and using confidential informants as hitmen. That's what Larrabee, Provader, and Malloy did. That's what Richard Colangelo covered up. And Richard Colangelo took a bribe in FST CV 20 502 3122. Flynn versus Barrier. See this tooth? It's chipped. The same cops that killed a kid with a taser and denied they used a taser. Okay, they hid the murder weapon. We have the video. It's going to come out eventually. It will come out during a national debate for a Senate seat. I can guarantee you that, because the mother is pen pals with my opponent, Richard Blumenthal. Did you hear what I just said? Oh yeah, he's completely aware of the bribery, and he's completely aware of the 5G bribery. He's completely aware of the OxyContin bribery. Look at Dominion. Bob Duff is taking payments from their lobbyist. You think the Senate Majority Leader isn't in charge of the voter fraud? I mean, I'm willing to bet that he is. Thank you very much. It's very important that people follow these stories. And the ones coming out in the future are worse. I'm not kidding. Worse than what you've seen. You haven't heard the 911 calls that I have. 30 of them will shake you to your core. Thank you very much.
I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means, on infiltration instead of invasion.
You have all the money in the world, you have all the power you need. What's the point? What's the end goal? Like I said, the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society.
What's your name and your badge number?
Party in the garden, the tower's falling, love in the summertime.
Subject 97, he's fishing. He also has an AR-15 in a Glock.
Unified, feeling oh so unified. In the lockdown, in the lockdown. washed over me, till I let the love wash over me. Said I forgot the whole world begging me to remain fire above upon my enemies. Till the love washed over me, till I let the love wash over me every day. It's a gift that's why we call it blessing. Every day. It's a gift that's why we call it blessing.
Britney Spears, can we be saved?
We were going in a direction that was irreversible. This was not an election. This was a revolution. This was irregular warfare at its finest. We have what we call citizen journalists. We have an army of digital soldiers. You're here because you've made a decision about something in your life. You can't sit back. You have a responsibility. We must. You have to fight for this country.
He's going to be bit like a...
Well, what's suspicious about just walking in public? I think a lot of what police do is suspicious, but...
I'm sure you do, but that's why I'm checking on you.
Sure, you do not have permission to open my door. I don't have to roll the window down. Give me my paperwork.
Why am I being asked to leave?
Yeah.